RWBY Volume 6, Episode 10, Stealing from the Elderly. So this, I would say, was a pretty great episode for the beginning of the year, especially the ending, because they may or may not finally be doing what I've been wanting for, I don't know, I guess the entire series, in all honesty. Like Adam, I've mentioned a bunch of times throughout my reviews, is always still kind of been my favorite character, and it has a lot to do with the fact that he is such a good villain, even though when he first came in, it was super awesome. I mean, obviously he came in and he chops the main character's arm off. He tried to chop Blake's head off. They end up escaping and stuff. But I was like, all right, he was always a cool looking character when he was in the trailer, and then he gets into the show officially, and they teased it. I think it was, if I remember, it was the season 2 finale was when he was finally introduced into the show, and then he still didn't show up like at all for the whole 3rd volume until like basically towards the end when things got really crazy. So I was like, all right, finally he was shown, and then finally he was actually there, and then he was gone for a super long time again, and we kind of got to see some stuff. Like, they kept teasing it in the openings, which they never actually did, like Blake, versus Adam, but that stuff never really happens. So we're finally getting it. I don't know if he'll die. I highly doubt it, because I feel like, honestly, I personally think it would be such a waste of a character to have Adam die at this point. I think it'll be a really great battle. And of course, Yang is going in to help Blake, so I cannot freaking wait for this next episode, because I think it's going to be amazing. But I don't think it helps to have his character get killed. I think he may or may not get captured. That I could see happen. And then, of course, he ends up escaping, later, especially with some ideas I have, like I mentioned before. It's like, oh, we have the villains going to Atlas to speak to somebody, and I think it might end up being Weiss's dad, and somehow, Adam could somehow be around there as far as, being locked up. It makes sense. But I don't know. I don't think he'll die, but he could get captured for sure, and I think it would be cool to see him go through that process of, being captured and stuff. But I was super happy, because honestly, I had the idea in my head when things, they're going through their plan. It's like, all right, everything's kind of working. Weiss actually goes on the ship. Maria's in the the suitcase, and so she ends up flying the ship after they knock the guards out, or the pilots. And so they're going through. It's like, all right, Yang and Blake, they take off. Blake is going to go in. Her being stealth-wise, she's going to be the one to take out the tower. They'll be good. Everybody can hop on the ship, and they'll fly off to where they need to go. And it's like everything seems to be going to plan. And then something doesn't work, where suddenly they can't get in touch with Blake. They don't know what's happening. And I was like, well, something's wrong, of course. And I'm like, Like, as soon as it happened, it was like, something's wrong. I'm like, well, Adam's like the best reason for that. But it just seemed kind of wild. It was like, well, that, he's somewhere, but we don't know where. I was like, it would be kind of crazy if it was Adam. And then we actually see what's going on with Blake. And, as soon as they show, like, she was freaking out, I was like, I think it has to be Adam, because she was legitimately freaking out because he's a murderer. Like, he goes in and people drop. And so I thought that was a great scene, like, where it shows, like, she dodges a bullet, and then she ducks behind some cover, and she turns, and there's a dead body right there, and it freaks her out. And then they officially reveal Adam, who I gotta say looks super cool with like the like the blind samurai bandana thing, which also leads me to wonder, is he able to see in a certain way or something like that? Does he, like with the whole fondness thing, like does he not use his eyes at all or something? Because I thought that was really interesting, because I was like, well, he doesn't have a mask or anything, so what are they going to do there? But I thought it was awesome. I was like, I love the bandana. It's not even a perfect bandana. It was like he got a bandana that was like all messed up because it has like nicks and cuts through it. So I thought that was cool. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the bandana, but I was like, for some reason, that made his whole outfit look way sweeter than it did before when he had the normal mask. It was like him with the bandana on makes it look a million times cooler to me, and I don't know why. It was legitimately like his whole outfit changed because he had that bandana covering his eyes. And I was like, for some reason, that makes it look super epic. Because I don't like this outfit nearly as much as I like the his original outfit in the suit, which was another reason I was annoyed when they changed it, because I was like, he was in the show like twice. He made an official appearance like 2 or 3 times throughout the entire series, and then they changed his costume when they went to the new art style, and I was like, well, that kind of sucks, because we've barely seen the dude in the show to begin with. Like, why'd they switch it up? So, I always thought that kind of sucked, because I felt like we never got enough of his actual character to even warrant a costume change. Like, I was just like, well, dang, that kind of sucks. It was kind of, the same with Mercury and Emerald. Their costumes are still the same, and they were in it way more than Adam ever was, but he got a costume change, and I was just like, well, that sucks. I love the suit. I love that idea. I like his new costume, but not as much as, it's a samurai dude in the suit. It just looked really cool. And then, we got the reference of it with Blake when she saw him in the premiere of this volume. And he has like the hood up and stuff, and it was very Assassin's Creed like. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Which I thought was interesting that they did that, because I don't recall ever seeing him actually have the hood up. I don't think I ever even noticed it had a hood, on the actual jacket. But I was like, well, that looks cool. It's actually kind of cool when he has the hood completely up. That would be an interesting look. But then we come back with this, and of course the mask was gone in the last volume, or in they showed in this character short as well, and it was just really interesting. It was like, okay, he decides to kind of take off. He takes off and he's wearing this bandana, and I thought that was super cool. I was like, all right, that I think is a pretty awesome look for his character. It's a very blind samurai sort of a Ronin type of deal where he is of course all alone, and that's like a big thing. Ronin is like a wandering samurai, so it kind of fit. The blind samurai just roaming about, and he's just mad. The dude is angry, and I love that they talked about it too. Like Blake was great in this, where they're having their conversation, and he's upset that she's like, you gotta let the past go, like just let all this stuff die. And he's like, is that what you did? You just forgot about me? And I thought it was really good. It was like he's obsessed with her, and she's like, he's like, talking to her, and she's like, man, I basically, like, I don't want you. You're insane. Like, you chopped my friend's arm off. You tried to chop my effing head off. You didn't care. It's like, I don't want anything to do with you. Like, you freak me out. Like, I try to get away from you. You follow me, basically back to my home. You started up a war again, or, increase the war. I was like, I don't want any of this. I don't want anything to do with you. Like, please just leave. Like, I don't want any of this stuff. So they're coming down, to this confrontation. They have their fight sequence, and, it gets to the end, and, they hit the ground, and then it's like, all right, it's time to kind of end it. So I don't know how things are going to play out. Like I said, I'm hoping that they don't kill Adam, but I feel like with the way things are playing out, that might be how it ends up going, because you have both Blake and Yang, them obviously coming head to head with this guy. Like, that's kind of the whole point of Adam's character, is to be this dark catalyst a little bit for their characters to develop. And he's, fortunately, for me at least, I know a lot of people kind of hate him just because he's such a dark character, but for me, he's an interesting catalyst because he has his own little storyline, and oddly enough, most of his character, I think we got in like his character short compared to everything he's done in the entire series. We've seen more in that character short, so there's that. It shows how little they actually show the character. So I'm hoping, once again, with that character short having been put out, I'm like, man, I hope that doesn't mean this is his final season. That's why they did that. Like, hey, here's a bunch on Adam. Since we never do anything with him, he's just kind of there, and we never really see him get to do that much. So I'm hoping that wasn't a little hint as to them kind of ending his character out. But Yang is coming in, Blake is there, they're gonna team up. That's been their dynamic ever since that happened to them. Yang had to develop, getting her arm back, or getting the new arm, and kind of figuring out how to cope with that, how to cope, not only physically but mentally, not having been strong enough to defeat Adam. Blake had to do the same thing with mentally having, kind of lost a friend in that way, and also not having been strong enough to stop Adam in the first place. So I like the idea, and now they're both coming together to face the one problem, that's kind of separated them, and we'll see what happens. We will see if they're able to protect each other, or if he's just that good. Because he is good. Adam is like, it's weird. Like, it's this weird thing where every time they show him fight, he doesn't really lose. Like, he got ganged up on at the end of the last volume, but that's like his whole thing. Like, even Blake mentioned it when he took off and someone was about to chase him. She was like, don't chase him, because that's his whole plan, because he's that good. Like, if he takes anyone on, like basically one-on-one, he never seems to lose. Like, he's always killing everybody else, and he never loses. So, 2-on-1, maybe. Like, they've obviously gotten stronger and stuff like that, but I don't know. Like, they might take him down, but I don't think he'll die. Like I said, I really hope he doesn't die, because I feel like there's so much more to do with his character. Just action-wise, at least. If he decides to officially join up with Salem and everything like that, I would love it. But either way, I'm super freaking excited for the next episode, because we are finally freaking getting a true battle between Adam and Blake. And of course, Yang will show up. We got all the other stuff going on. Obviously, Weiss and Maria are in the ship. RWBY has a new plan, because she feels that they have to use the ship in order to defeat basically the giant machine. I can't remember the woman's. I never remember the woman's name, but the old woman, the mad lady, she basically brought out like Big O from a mountain, which I thought was admittedly kind of cool. Super old anime references. Hopefully you guys got that, but that was a cool sequence. And Ruby's like, all right, well, we need the ship to take down this giant robot, or this giant mech. So we'll see what ends up happening with that, and how they do it. But I don't care about any of that. In all honesty, I just want to see Adam versus Blake because that's all I've been waiting for officially. Like them actually doing what they seem like they're about to do because they can't, escape it at this point. They are about to have a confrontation. So I'm waiting for this for the entire series because we never really had it. We've had some moments here and there. They've argued a little bit, but they never really had big fights. The one kind of fight they had, Adam came in and was just like, all right, well, I'm about to kill you. Yang came in. He's like, well, I'm done with that. And he tried to chop Blake's head off. And, fortunately they escaped. But now it's back again. And both of the girls have grown up. So we'll see how they end up handling this. But I'm definitely excited for the next episode. Really did enjoy this one. I thought it was really good the way they went through the mission. And like I said, Adam showing up and just how things fell apart, especially with him. It's one thing when the other villains show up, but I feel like when it's Adam, it's really scary because, like I said, he never seems to lose and he's just killing everybody. Like, I don't think he'll ever, I don't think any of the main characters will die, but it's just a different mental element when I see his character just show up and it's like, that's not a good thing. Like, everyone else is like, oh, something might happen. This could be bad. That could be bad. But I swear, like, even more than Cinder or Salem. Well, maybe if Salem showed up, then, for sure. But like whenever Adam shows up, it's just like, that's it. Like, they're screwed. Somebody's screwed. Somebody's dying. And we've already seen a couple, random people die, but it's just like every time he shows up, I'm like, I don't really know how well this is gonna play out anymore. Especially, after what happened with Yang. It's just like every time he shows up, I'm like, I don't really know what to think anymore. So looking forward to next week's episode. But of course, we'd love to know what you guys thought about this one. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, least favorite parts about it. And naturally, I want to know your predictions for how the battle is going to end between Blake, Yang, and Adam. I feel like we're going to get at least a couple of minutes, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes where it's just Blake and Adam together. And then, of course, Yang will show up because obviously she's on the motorcycle. So they might make it super short. It might be like 1 minute worth of combat. And then Yang shows up and it's both of them fighting Adam. And I don't know how much of that. I would hope that takes up more of the episode than the rest of the team battling the mech. Just because it's personally, something I've been waiting for a super long time. But I think it's more entertaining in general. Like the hand-to-hand stuff is always cooler than ships flying and shooting stuff. So I would hope that takes up more of the episode comparatively speaking. But I would love to know your theories on how this battle is going to end. Is Adam going to live? Is he going to die? Is he going to escape? Is he going to get arrested? I would love to know your theories on that, and of course, what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.